So in about 3 minutes time, we would kick off.
It's okay.
All right. So it's 7 o'clock by my time. And I hope as we continue, others would join us. But I wish they had joined us earlier so that they will be able to pick up as we move on. Is my voice clear enough? Is my voice clear enough?
Your voice is very clear.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. So today we'll be looking at this all important aspect of research, and we put it as a title: How research topic, not a good research. Yesterday, the first day of the workshop, identifying the research processes. And we said the research process is step-by-step activities or action that are necessary if we are going to carry out an effective research. So there are step-by-step activities or actions that if we are aiming to carry out an effective research, then they are necessary. And the first of it is define research problem. That is the first stage of it. And the reason why I am calling our attention to this is because after you have undergone the rigor of trying to define, sometimes you will have to redefine again. After you have carried out those rigorous process, you come out with a research topic. So we are I'm showing this so that you would see that we are wanting to address the first issue that is found in the research process. Persons are not able to understand what to do. So because of that, they end up not actually getting a research topic. They end up running around looking for someone to give them a topic. Why? Because the problem, they are not able to define it. All right, the next thing I want to introduce us to is the research area. A research area is a broad field of study I want us, while I am teaching, you may just go on the chat, just put your area of study, just put your field of study, just type it on the chat, so that when I am done, when we want to do our practical session, I will pick one of those field of studies, if time permits to, and see how we can run on them to arrive at a research topic. So, a research area is a broad field of study or a specific domain within a larger discipline that researchers investigate. So research area is like an umbrella. Under it is where research is being carried out. So every research is carried out within a specific research area. Now, some of us are from the engineering, some are from science and technology, some are from medical and biological sciences. All these are broad research areas. When you now research, you must identify with or identify a particular research area like you have already done, because for you to be part of this workshop, you are either pursuing a degree or at the postgraduate level. So because that is already done, it means that you have already identified a particular research area, whether in the engineering. If you now break it down, you will not find out that under the engineering, there are other research areas that are categorized. You see civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electronics, electrical engineering. That is another broad field. Then you now break it down again. You will now be seeing other minute area in it. You now be seeing areas like, take for instance, in the civil engineering, you now be seeing something like transport engineering, structure engineering. All those are now, you are not trying to identify a research area in the broad sense, and you want to now continue to narrow it down until it now comes to a point where you are able to identify a particular topic or a particular problem that you want to solve. So like I said earlier, see research area as a big umbrella. Under it is where research is being carried out. So it is a conceptual space where specific topics, questions, and problems are explored in order to expand knowledge and understanding. Now, if you have been able to understand what a research area is, the next thing I want to address is, because we are talking about a good research topic, not just a research topic. What makes a research topic to be good? There are certain indices that if they are satisfied, that research topic is a good one. And those indicators is what is that is what have that acronym FINA. FINA, F-I. F means feasible. For a research topic to be a good one, it is something that should be feasible. When we say feasible, it's something that you can do, a research that can be done. A research that can be done, so it must be feasible. Not like you bring a topic and it looks like in the next 50 years, it can be done. Even if they give you the entire continent, you still cannot do it. So a good research topic must be feasible. I is interesting. This is very, very important. You will see some students they are frustrated, uninterested when they are doing their research. Why? That research topic is not a good one because it is not looking interesting, not just to them alone now, but even in the field to which they are researching under. When you bring that research topic and say, this is what I'm working on, it looks like, what is this one? It's not interesting. The knowledge is not actually so important, so interesting. Another thing, which is the N, is novel. A good research topic must be novel. That is the reason why it is a research. If it is not novel, then it's not a research, because it must come out with a new knowledge at the end of the day. So a good research topic has to be novel. Another thing is ethical. A good research topic has to be ethical in the sense that it must satisfy certain research considerations, ethical considerations. It must considerations, that is research ethical considerations. Then R is relevant. The topic has to be relevant both to in the sense of the problem it is to solve and in the general body. It must be something that is what is relevant. So researchers should evaluate the problem of the study based on these 5 indicators. Now, let's approach them in a more clearer details. So feasibility, you are going to, before you decide on a particular research topic, they must make sure, as a researcher, you must make sure that you can do the research. You must make sure that you can do it. When I mean you can do it, not like they tell you go and get data and you are not able to get any data anywhere. That means that data, that research is undoable. So you must make sure that it is something you can do. When we say something you can do, you know, you have the tools of getting your data, you have your data, you have a way you can analyze your data. It must be doable. Then it must be interesting. That is interestingness. The research topic should be interesting for researchers, not just the researchers alone, but even the community of knowledge, that is the scientific community. If researchers do not have enough enthusiasm, please take note of this enthusiasm. Many times when I see students who are researching, I just feel bad because I don't understand. It's like they're putting a weight on their head. They are sad. They don't feel happy. Anytime they are coming to see their supervisor, they feel like, oh, they want to break their head over again. They don't know what is going on. They are frustrated. They are downcast. It is just clear that that topic is not interesting because an enthusiasm in the researcher for that particular research. So it may not be possible to successfully conduct the research if it is not interesting. Then novel, the research should lead to a new findings. Then ethical consideration. In choosing a research topic, you must consider all the aspects of ethical issues in terms of data collection, in terms of findings, generalization. You must consider all the ethical issues. Who are the people that are to be considered? Maybe the government, certain organizations, the people who are collecting data from their privacy. You must consider all these facts. If not, after you finish that research, you can be sued. If you break ethical, if you did not put ethical consideration into perspective, even when you have succeeded in finishing the result, somebody can stand up and sue you for certain failure in not considering certain things. Now, relativity. This indicator, the same relativity and relevant is pointing to the same direction. That is, it must be relevant. For a research project to be relevant, one, it must be able to advance science. That is, it must connect to existing field. It must be able to show a link between what has been and what you are now doing or what you have found out. So these are a more broader explanation of that. So now let's go now how to find a good research topic. Now, when you intend to carry out a research project, the choice of a topic becomes a significant step. Why? The topic you choose will determine the direction of your research. The topic you choose will determine the resources you will need to gather. The topic you choose will determine the overall success of your project or your research or your paper. So it is imperative to choose a topic that is both interesting to you and relevant to the field under which you are studying. So I just want to provide you with some step-by-step process for selecting a research topic that will ensure a successful and engaging project. But take note. These approaches I want to advance or suggest or put forth to us, there is no one size fits all. You may apply a particular technique, it will work in one area, but that does not mean that it will work in every area. But you need to just understand all these techniques so that if this one did not work and is not able to help you to conceptualize a topic, then you look into the other one. So I just want to bring us some common ways to find a research topic. Now, in getting a research topic, the first approach, I'm dividing it into 4 parts. Number 1, brainstorming. Number 2, selecting. Number 3, searching for gaps in literature. Number 4, benchmarking. Now, we are going to go from the first point, brainstorming. Now, before you embark on a research, we have already talked about you now know what a research area is. So we assume you are already belonging or you have identified a research area. The next thing is now brainstorm and find research problems, which is potential ideas. So the first step in selecting a research topic is to brainstorm potential ideas, which is, in another word, research problems. So you have to take some time to think about certain areas, certain subjects of study that interest you the most. So take, for instance, you are in the field of computer science, and in your course, when you are carrying out your coursework or when you are doing your classes, you hear of different areas: artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data science, information. You just find out that there are a lot, but there is a particular area that interests you. The next thing is to go and begin to brainstorm on potential problem that exists or that you can find within that particular area that interests you. One of the ways you can do that is to consider your previous coursework. So take, for instance, your lecturer comes to class, he's teaching. Sometimes you may hear him say some things like, oh, this one is not being done. Oh, this one, we have not touched it. Oh, this one, research has not been so clear about it. Oh, this one. Take note. What are those things that you found out in the course of when you were carrying out your coursework? From there, you can find out potential ideas. Another way again is you now begin to check, is there any current event or trend in that field? You know, today in the world of technology, there's a lot of things that are evolving. You now go and check what is current, what is the recent technology that is evolving in that area, what is the research findings, what are the things that are going on now that are current, trending in this particular field. From there, you can come out with potential ideas or potential problems that you can solve by your research. Then, and any personal experience. By your personal experience, you can just, maybe you are trying to carry out a particular laboratory process, as those who are in the biological science, you want to carry out a biological process, and you just discover certain chemical processes that was not captured while you are trying to carry out that laboratory experiment. And that thing makes you to become a kind of, your observation now prompts you to like, what is this? What can this thing be? I have not heard of this before. So you mean this can be like this? So that observation can spark curiosity in you. So, but when you are doing all these things, in trying to put all these things together, you must try to make a list of all these areas or these ideas or these potential problems that you found out as a result of when you are carrying out your coursework, when you are trying to study the trends in the field, when you are trying to look into your personal experience or observations when you are carrying out certain processes. So that is the aspect of brainstorming. Today, many students don't like to brainstorm. They just want it fast. They just want it quick. And I must tell you the truth that if you would get a good research topic, you must not fall to that trap. Now, the next thing is, after you have brainstormed and you are able to now bring out a number of ideas, potential problem areas. The next thing now, you move on to selecting. What do you do there? once you have listed these ideas or problem areas, the next thing is you will try to narrow it down to probably 2 or 3. That is the ones that are most appealing, the ones that are most interesting to you. The ones that are most interesting to you after you have been able to look critically into them. Let me say that after you have finished in brainstorming and you have listed out those ideas, it is imperative, it is important that you go and just do a little findings about these areas or these problem areas or potential ideas. You go just check, what about this, what about this, what about this, what about this, and when you are done with that, you discover that some became more alive to you than the others. Those ones that became more alive to you, you will now narrow down your focus to those ones. Then the next thing is searching for literature, searching for gaps in literature. Anytime you are about to do a research, you must understand that an academic research must be based on an academic problem. What do I mean? An academic research must be founded upon a problem that can be proven by literature. You cannot just come up one day and say, oh, I think this is a problem. Yes, it might be a problem, but your thinking is not enough to justify it for research. So after you have brainstormed and you have been able to narrow down to 1, 2, or 3, what you do, you now want to use literature to validate them that actually these are problems that are found in literatures. You now go on and begin to search for gap in literature. After you have done finding, you will be able to identify, even if it is just one gap you found in literature, that is enough to back up and justify and make your research to be valid. The next thing is benchmarking. After you have done all this literature check and you are looking for gap, that particular literature where you found a gap that is actually relating to the problem you want to solve, you will hold on to that paper as your benchmark paper, your threshold paper. So when you are finished doing your own experiment, you will compare the results you have to know and to see if actually you improved on what the gap you found in that literature. Why that is important is because that is actually the essence of you endeavoring to go into that research. You want to advance the knowledge. So if you now hold that paper as a benchmark paper, what now happens is after you have finished doing your own experiment, you now check the results you have and compare with the one this other author have, and there should be a form of improvement as a result of your own research, considering the work that this other researcher has done. So I would like to pause here. First of all, let's run some 1 or 2 practicals. All right. So I want to go into the chat. I believe that I said earlier that we should put down our courses in the chat. I only find only one here, so I think that is the one I just work with. That is the one I will work with. All right. So somebody is saying impact of IT on broadcasting equipment. All right, this is already looking like you are already focusing on a problem. It means that you've already found that a problem and you've already begin to identify it as a topic. Because if you say impact, it means that you are now set to carry out a research to find it. So you have a research topic already. That is a research topic already. I don't know if you understand, Mr. Aminu. So this is already a research topic. What we are trying to do is finding a research topic, but I will come to that. So let me just look at this aspect of computer science, since he's the one that is since he's the only person who shared this department or field of study. Let's look into that. If you can see my screen. So now in computer science, you now begin to brainstorm. Probably there are different fields or different areas in computer science. If you pick all of them, you can use your Google search. You just go on Google and type in, or you can even use your chat GPT, go on any of their AI model, test AI model, and just put there areas, research areas in computer science. Now, I just want to put it on Google. Let's say research areas in computer science. All right. So now, this is what it came out with. It came out with a setting. You don't need to just go too far. These are the things that have been listed here. Machine learning, software engineering. This is a broad research area. So, but you have been able to see a number of research areas. Now you now check, do I actually have interest in any of this area as a computer scientist? I want to carry out my research. Do I have interest in any of this area? Now, let's assume now that your area of interest, let's say it is in, let's say, computational biology. So you have been able to come to a point where you have been able to identify a particular area, which is what? Computational biology. Now I will guide you on what to do from that point. Just let me bring out my notepad. So you are able to identify a given area, which is computational. Sorry, my system is kind of just sinking. So, go down. All right, so you are able to now identify a particular area, which is computational biology. So this is a broad research area. The next thing you want to do, if this concept is not clear to you, like you don't have clear understanding of this concept, you can still go back again to your search and put it like this. Research area in computational biology. Now, when you put in that, it's going to bring out things like this. All right, look at this now. We have system biology, we have proteomics, we have metagenomics, we have biomolecular design, we have drug development, functional genomics. All these are research areas found within computational biology. So let's assume that we want to look at, let's pick computational genomics. Let's say we want to now focus on computational genomics. So we say computational, but take note, you can also put down a number. It must not a number of them. It must not be only one. Genomics. Okay, computational genomics. Now, if you check that concept, computational genomics, maybe you even don't have so much understanding still about what does this thing entail. You can still go back again to your search, and instead of computational biology, you can put computational genomics. Computational genomics, and it will bring out a number of things. Now, what I expect you to do, what you should do, is that you have been able now to find out, okay, let's say computational genomics. The next thing you will do, take these two concepts. If you do not understand what they actually mean, go and look for maybe materials to understand this concept, computational genomics. What does it mean? What is it all about? You can still go to your Google search. It will tell you briefly what that is all about. So I want to pick out more than one. So let me pick out computational genomics. Let me pick out proteomics. Let me pick out evolutionary biology. Let me pick 3 of them. Let me pick proteomics, and let me pick evolutional biology. Now, these are terms, or there are narrow feeds under computational biology. So now let's look at them one after the other. So now we don't even understand what this thing means. Let's go and tell Google, what does this thing actually entail? So let's look at it. So we say computational genomics. Look at what he said. He said computational genomics. Research area in computational genomics includes sequence analysis and genome assembly. Sequence analysis and genome assembly. So you begin to ask, what is genome assembly? He say genome assembly, this is it. He say genome assembly, what is it about? Creating complete genome sequences from fragmented DNA data, including reference genome, development, and pangenome analysis. I know some of us will be a bit lost because these are not in any way connecting to our field of study. But what I want you to grasp is just understand the step by step by which I am going about this whole thing. So now you have been able to understand that computational genomics entails genome assembly. Now, pick this genome assembly, go to your Google Scholar. You want to now search for material. That is, go to your scholar.google.com. Go and just type those two words that you got. What's up? Okay, sorry, there's a mistake here. Just type in scholars.google.com. So just type in those two words that you have been able to identify, type them there and launch it into your Google Scholar. It will go and bring out a lot of work that people have done in that area. Different works people have done in that area. Now, since you are still trying to identify a research problem, or you are still trying to define a research problem, the kind of journal you are looking for at this point is review papers or survey papers. The reason why you are looking for review papers or survey papers is because this paper consider a number of research that has been done in that area and try to summarize them so that you will be able to see area of gap that is existing in that research area. So you are looking for research review paper. So sometimes when you are looking for a review paper, you will see it is written there. They will write a review. Sometimes you will see a survey. But if you want to be sure, just go and put it on the same point there. Just put review. Then you can put survey. So now it is going to bring you straight to papers that are either a review or a survey. If you consider it now, you will see that it is actually bringing you into those kind of paper, a review or a survey. So now you begin to look at the area and you see, try to consider paper that are more recent, because if the paper is old, there is a probability that somebody may have been able to identify that problem and also solve the problem, because it has been a long time that problem has been identified. But if you look for papers that are close, like in the last 5 years, you have the assurance that, these are recent problems that are being identified. So on this search pane, you can just put in 2019 to 2025 so that it will bring a more recent papers, survey paper in that area. So now let's look at this. It says machine learning meets genome assembly. Machine learning meets genome assembly. This one says a survey of algorithm for the detection of genomic structural variants for long-read sequencing data. Then the other one say 20 years of plant genome sequencing, achievements and challenges. All right. So this one that they have already told you that what they are focusing on is they are trying to look at plant genome sequencing. They are not trying to identify the achievements, that is the extent to which research have been able to provide solution, and the area where there is still an existing challenge. So let's look at this. I know I'm a bit fast. Just forgive me, I don't know. So you pick this, and when you pick this, the first thing you do, the first thing you do, you have to read through the abstract. Read through the abstract. The reason why you are reading through the abstract is so that you don't waste your time reading through an entire journal before you find out that it's not necessary, it's not relevant. You have to read through the abstract. So that the topic interests you does not mean that the content may support what you are thinking. But when you read through the abstract, because the abstract is a summary of the entire work, it will not be able to tell you that, okay, what you are actually looking for, you will find it in this work. So you read through the abstract. Publications of the complete genome sequence of Arabidopsis thaliana, the first plant reference genome, in December 2000, heralds the beginning of the plant genome era. Over the past 20 years, reference genomes have been generated for hundreds of plant species, spanning non-vascular to flowering plants. Releasing these plant genomes has dramatically advanced studies in all disciplines of plant biology. Importantly, multiple reference level genomes have been generated from the major crops and their progenitors, enabling the creation of pangenomes and exploration of domestication history and natural variation that can be adopted by modern crop breeding. We summarize the progress of plant genome sequencing and the challenges of sequencing more complex plant genome and generating pan genome. So from what I have read now, I just find that I've not read through the work, but what I'm looking at now, the work is the challenges we are going to be looking at here is a challenge that has to do with being unable or finding difficulty in sequencing more complex plant genome. So now you begin to think in your head, what are the plants that are categorized as complex plants? What are those plants? They are categorized because actually a number of plants have already been their genome sequence has already been gotten, but there are some plants that they've not been gotten yet. Why? Because those plants have complex genome. So now the first question that should be troubling you is, what actually are those plants? I have not read through the work, but I'm just seeing it that is actually what would be the first thing to take note of. And mind you, even if you come out and you're able to discover more than one types of that particular plant, take note, don't ever forget final. It must be feasible. When we say feasible, if you are able to identify a particular plant and you look at your environment and that plant is not existing, the plant is in Brazil, please don't go there. Don't go there. It's not going to be funny, because when you begin to go through the stress of acquiring and sustaining and carrying out analysis, you will discover that the work will become so burdensome for you. All right, so let's go down. Oh, I just hope, okay. Let's see if it is available. Oh, shit. All right, so the paper is not free. The paper is not free. So they expect you to pay before you're able to get it. So that means we'll not be able to process this one to come out with a certain conclusion. But I don't know if you really understand from the little I've been able to spot at here, to be able to understand now what problem you can find out just by going through a certain literature. I just want us to have a little conversation. So please, let's unmute. Let's unmute. Can we unmute? All right. So let's unmute. I want us to have a little conversation. Now, from what we have just considered now, you will see the process that I followed. And the process I followed, it is that those processes that I was trying to advance to us from the first step, where you have to go through the brainstorming, the selecting, the searching for gap, and the benchmarking. So where we had problem is that we are not able to access that particular paper now because it is not a free paper. So exactly. in the case where it is a free paper, by the time you are able to go through And I told you that you should start with a review or a survey paper, because those papers summarizes a number of literatures that have been done, a number of research that has been done in that area that interests you. So it will summarize it to tell you what has been done and what has not been done. So by that, it is easy for you to identify your topic or to identify a problem. Do we understand to that point? Please, let's talk back to me. Understand to that
Yes,
point?
sir.
Let's need feedback.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So I told you that merely looking at the topic may not actually be sufficient. So you don't have to just say, oh, the topic is good. No, it may not actually be sufficient merely looking at the topic. You would still need to read through the abstract. Don't bother going to read through the entire work yet. Just go through the abstract. And if it is actually moving in the direction of your thoughts, the abstract will communicate it to you. So from there, the next thing, let's assume that paper now, it is free. I'm able to access it. As soon as I finish reading that abstract, the next thing I will do is to go to the results and discussion. I will go to the result and discussion. I may not actually start from there. I may start from the methodology. I may start from the methodology. I want to check what are the areas or what are the types or the techniques that these authors who have done their research, what are the techniques they applied when they were trying to get the genome sequence of these plants that has been gotten. And at what point did this method fade and not able to capture the genome sequence of these other plants? So I will now discover one kind of gap, and that kind of gap is called the methodological gap. That if you can find out a methodological gap, it is a strong gap. That is a gap that is found as a result of the incapability of the research technique or method to be able to to find efficiency in solving the problem that researcher intended to solve. Now, the next point I will go to is to go straight to the results. What did this author got as a result? Now, when I look at the results, I will not try, because some of these results, there are standards that you can use to evaluate them so that you'll be able to say, oh, this research, the result is good. So what I will do, I want to check the step-by-step that this author followed in coming about this is results. Are there any way to optimize? Are there any way to improve the step-by-step so that I can achieve a more better result that can give you a form of research gap? Then you go straight to the conclusion. In the conclusion, some of the authors, they will tell you that we are able to do this one, but this one, we cannot do it. As soon as you see a literature that tells you this one, we have not done it, just know that one is already a prepared research topic for you. In some other journals, they will come and tell you further work or future work. The researcher will tell you, we did this, but another researcher can do this and do this and do this. That is enough for you to go to your supervisor and say, sir, look at the area I am trying to work on. But before you do that, you must be sure that area has satisfied the characteristics of a good research. Number one, feasibility, interestingness, novelty, ethical consideration, and then relevance or relativity. You must be sure that it satisfies it. Now, I want to move on to other methods for which we can achieve or get a research topic. All right, another approach is what we call the flash of brilliance model. There are some times whereby you just wake up one day and a new idea is just burning in your head. A new idea is just burning in your heart. You just find out that something is telling you that you are the person to solve this problem. That idea is burning. Or sometimes you just discover a new approach to solve an important problem. There are other approaches that have been used to solve that problem before, but one day you just wake up and you just find out that something is telling you, or a kind of intuition or a kind of mapping is just trying to link another new solution into your head. That one is another way some researchers got their research problem. But there are warnings, because this rarely happens. So if you are doing an academic research that you have maybe 1 year to finish it, and you are waiting for the flash of brilliance to get your topic, the 1 year may finish and you may not start a research, because this rarely happens. And then even though if it happened, many times you may not find a supervisor that will agree to do it for you. Why? Because sometimes some of those things that you come and say, sir, this is the problem, your supervisor will be saying, which literature did you read? And you have not read the literature because the idea just flashed. These were the problems of Michael Faraday. Those days when he was coming to his professors and he was telling them that he wants to go into electricity, he wants to solve the problem, they will be saying, how do you want to do that? Who has ever done it? Where did you see it? So he had a lot of problems because they never agreed to his idea. So many times, even when you are able to find out a particular, a very strong flash of idea, you may not get a supervisor to do it for you. But I'm telling you that this is very possible. In short, when I was doing my master's program, this was how I got my master's research topic. I just got up one day and the thing just flashed through my head. As soon as it flashed through my head, I just went online and I saw that actually that is something that is researchable. Then I pick up and I started doing my literature review. Another one is the apprentice model. In this apprentice model, this is how it happens. Your supervisor has a list of topics and he will suggest one or more to you that you can work on. And this model can save you a lot of time and anxiety. But still, there is a problem. There are problems. One of the problems is that don't work on something you find boring, fruitless, or you are badly motivated about it. That your supervisor wants you to work on it. If you are finding it uninteresting to you, please don't work on it, because it will not be so easy when you are doing the research, because you are the first person and your energy is important. Now, another thing again is that several students may be working on the same area. Several students, I've seen a situation before where about 6 students, they didn't know, but all of them were working on the same topic. So at the end of the day, they have to measure all of them together, and that was how all of them did the work together. But sometimes when you are doing your research, if it's in the undergraduate level, that one can work. But if it's the postgraduate level, 2 people cannot do one topic. So if you find out that somebody else is doing what you are doing, that means you have to stop. So, and that is one of the challenges you will find when you are following the apprentice model. Another one again is the Phoenix model. Yeah, you work on some projects. I mean, you work on a number of projects and you think very hard about them, what you have done, and then you are looking for insight. I think one of the recent seminar I attended, a student came with a project, a physical project, and he has done it, but the write-up is not yet showing. But he has done a working project, and you can appreciate the project, and you can see the genuity, you can see the novelty. But now, that is where he has not completed the research yet, because the process of the stages of research goes from the proposal, the project, and then the documentation. So that you just come with the project, it does not mean that you have a successful research, but that can be a model for you to come up with a research topic. So that's in that context, you can re-implement in a common framework. So you can also identify an algorithm or prove problem in algorithm/proof problem inside, and then you can also identify the topic. Topic can emerge from that project. Then, especially in common systems. So take for instance, you are doing something about IoT, and you know IoT has to do with networking of edge devices. Now, people are applying the knowledge of IoT into a number of fields, agriculture, health, and the like. Then one day you just got up and discover that, and then smart city, cattle rustling, and one day you just come about a particular idea and say, oh, I have the idea of IoT networking of edge devices, but I have discovered that they have not been able to implement it in this area. You can now go ahead and begin to read for you to be able to see if actually that problem exists in literature. So, but warning, you may be working without a topic for a long time. You are busy trying to connect wires, trying to connect theories, trying to connect principles, trying to make up a whole large body of text, and whereas you have not gotten any topic out of it yet. It's maybe after you have blended all of them at the end of the day, you'll not be able to arrive at a topic. Then the fourth one is the stapler model. Yeah, you work on a number of small topics. So take, for instance, you want to go into drug discovery and personal medicine. Now, you're already working on smaller projects that surround drug discovery. You're already doing some laboratory experiments. You have already begun to put some things together that you can even present as paper, but yet it is not yet full enough. Because it's not full enough, you cannot pick it up as a research area. But when you now blend them together, those small topics, those small areas you have actually tried to look into, when you now try to wire them together, it can eventually become a full research topic or a research problem or a research area that you can endeavor to research further into. And most times when a person is doing a PhD, a PhD work can be broken down into a number of master's research. In a PhD topic, like this one is my PhD topic, you can break it down into up to like 4 or 5 or 6 master's research. Then a master's research, you should be able to break it down into like 2 or 3 undergraduate program projects or research. Why? Because these are research intensive topics that you do in PhD. They are great. They are deep. They are broad. So sometimes when even you are carrying out your PhD research, you will discover that you have to follow it. You take it bit by bit. You chew it bit by bit, and at the end of the day, you will wire all to form the full-fledged topic that you are dealing with. Another thing again is that this may be hard. And sometimes it can be impossible to find the one rope that you can use to tie all of them together. So I think this is the last one, which is the synthesis model. This synthesis model, you read some papers from other feeds, not your feed now. You read some papers from other feeds, say computer science, engineering, or other related feed. Then look for places and apply the insight from other feed to your own feed. If you see the concept of artificial intelligence and machine learning, the original concept is not in computer science. The original concept is in biological sciences. The brain behind artificial intelligence is they are inspired by the brain, how the brain operates, the human brain operates. Now, that is in another field, that is in the field of biology. But now they took that concept of how the brain operates and they are now trying to apply it to the field of computing by using algorithms to implement or to mimic the same operation of the brain. That is also very possible. Maybe you are in computer science. You can also, to get a topic, you can look at some core areas in other subfields. And the principles behind that kind of operation, you can find it to become interesting to apply it to a particular area in computing. That has already formed a very novel topic, and it could even be a breakthrough in that your field. So, but warning, you can spend a career reading papers. That is, you can read for the next 3 years. You can be reading papers for the next 3 years for you to arrive at that kind of strong principle or that kind of strong operation that you think you can move and apply it to your field. Then 2, you may not find any useful connections. So sometimes you may have read, and at the end of the day, you discover that all the labor was in vain. So I intended looking at another slide. I intended looking at another slide, so but I will try as much as I can to be quick about that so that we can. Please, are you able to see my new screen? The new slide I just projected, are you able to see it?
That's it.
All right. Now, this slide is on how to find articles for your literature review section. One of the reasons why I wanted adding this to it is because most times as a student, whether undergraduate or postgraduate, you have to do a number of literature review before you can crystallize your research topic. But most times, students don't know how to find articles. Sometimes they don't even know how to review an article for them to find a problem. There was this last seminar we attended, a student was presenting and he was saying a lot of things that to him it looked interesting. This is why the problem, because on your statement of problem, you are going to state why this your research is actually important. So it was stating in the statement of problem, this is the problem in this literature, this author did not do this author did not do that, this author did not do this. Do you know that at the end of the day, all those ones, they are not actually research problem? Why? Because this person is trying to bend the hand of the article so that the article can represent what he wants. There's not going to be a need for that kind of manipulation if you actually know how to review a literature. But most times, students still don't know how to find literature for their literature review. I don't want to dwell so much on theory. I want to do a kind of practical here. But there are some materials in that slide that would be very, very useful. There are some information in that slide that will be very useful, but let me just do some practical here so that we can see or understand what I'm saying. All right, so let me say before that, let me look at this, okay? So, literature review is important, actually. That is the essence of this introduction. It's only trying to tell us that literature review is important. It cannot be overemphasized. Your research can never be complete without a good literature review section. Now, understanding your research topic. Before beginning a literature review, it means that you have been able to understand your research topic, because there are keywords that forms your research topic, and those keywords are the words that you will use for what? Searching for literatures. So I'm going to just scroll through the slide. I'll just look at one or two things before I do the practical. So in understanding your research topic, number one, you have to define your research questions. In some field, research question is a must, but in some other field, research question is not a must, but research aim and objective is must. So irrespective of your field, whether they say you should do research question or not, or research aim of the objective, that is a must. So you must understand the research aim, objective, or the research question. Then two, you must be able to identify keywords that are found in that topic or in the research question. Then three, you review background literature. Now, when you are trying to define your research question, there are certain things you have to avoid. You don't need to be too general with your questions. Make your questions to be very narrow. Make it to be so specific. Because when it is too broad, it will overwhelm you. You cannot do it. Because at the end of your research, each of those questions, you must provide an answer to them. Each of those objectives, you must provide an answer to them. So make sure that your objectives are not too broad. They are not too general. If not, in the course of carrying out your research, you will discover that it is overwhelming you. So don't be tempted to use too broad. Don't be tempted to use too broad research objective or research questions. So, identifying keywords. Now, steps to identify keywords. First, identify the main concept of your topic. think of synonyms, alternative terms for those concepts. Then consider technical terms, abbreviations, phrases that are used in scholarly work. So when you are using different combination of these words to search for articles in search engines and academic database, they can help you to find more relevant articles. You will find some links. Actually, they are in this material to go to get literatures. You know that some of these literatures, they are paid literature, so they may be very interesting. Oh, you feel like I have gotten the literature I'm looking for, but as you go in there, they will tell you that it is not free. They will tell you that it is not free, you have to pay. And you know what, a number of us, we are not willing to pay. So what do? Then there's no point going there. So that's why I put in this slide a number of access to free repositories or database when you are looking for what? Free articles. When you are looking for free articles, if you click on these links, they will take you to where you can access free articles. So I will just go into one. I will pick these. Which one is that? Open access? No, let me pick directory of open science article. Let me pick this one, which is directory of open science article. Of search, actually, the first point of search actually has to do with your Google Scholar. Go to your Google Scholar as your first point of search. So now I want to pick that topic that Mr. Aminu placed. Now that this is the topic that you are looking to. If you look at it, you are seeing some keywords there. Words like broadcasting equipment, words like impact of IT, terms like impact of IT on broadcasting equipment. Now, you go to that Google Scholar and type it there. You say impact. I will show you something important, so just watch. Impact of IT on broadcasting equipment. All right, now this is it. So and remember, you should look for goals. Don't look for the problems that are captured. So don't go look. Let's say a review. And let's set the range to 2019 and 2025. This is 2021. It's a radio propagation in terrestrial broadcasting television systems. Using behavioral data to assess the environmental impact of electricity consumption of alternate television. This one say broadcasting the strategy of television production configuration. So if you look at what is here, you will be seeing it one by one. If you can see it, you will see that the words that are in this particular place here, you will see that they are just picking it one by one. Instead that you see broadcasting on it, or you see impact, or you see review on it. But now we want a situation whereby the literature should be focused on what we are looking for. So what can we do? We can put question mark. We can put a quotation mark, which will help the search engine to look for things as a whole, not looking for it as a part. To look for things as a whole, not looking for it as a part. So that is what we want to do. By this, you'll be able to give option to the what? To the search engine. So you will be looking for literatures in this direction. So let's search again. So it's saying that your search this disease did not match any article published between this year. So let's see if it is existing anytime. All right, so they say it did not match. So meaning that this concept of impact on IT, on broadcasting equipment, actually listeners have not dwell on it, and that can be an empirical app. An empirical is an area where there is no much literature that has already been published in those areas. That is also a step in research. So let me try and put this off, and let's see this. Okay, so it did not bring out any stuff. And whenever you see that something like this is existing, don't just give up because you feel nothing was found. Take that entire term, go to your normal Google search and paste it there, because Google search will go beyond Google Scholar. So go through. As you are going through, discover some things that were not captured in Google Scholar. So look at this paper. It's saying broadcast automation allows the use of I don't know what is left there. Then you see impact information and communication on that thing. So if you cannot, we are now coming to see papers that we did not find initially on this Google Scholar. I hope we are following. Right. I just hope we are following. Look at this. They say the impact information and communication technology on broadcasting systems in Nigeria, a review. Now, we got this paper, but initially when we were searching, we did not something that can tie this whole thing together. But as we come to Google to search, we are able to find out something reasonable. But in this context, the paper is not here. They are telling us to request for full tests. So let's look for another. This one say a study of broadcasting corporation of Oyo disease. I don't know what's left at that part. A critical evaluation of the impact of. I think this one should be part of it, but let's just view. So this is looking like an undergraduate project. It's those people that used to do project for people. Looking like an undergraduate project. So, but what I'm trying to point out is that the paper, you have been able to get a paper on it. Let's go so that we can get one paper. Greening the broadcast media, insight from public and private television stations, digitization in Nigeria industry, impact on content, employment and access. So let's pick this. And this is a 2025 paper. This is a 2025 paper to digitization in Nigeria broadcasting industry. It also has something to do with impact of IT. Yes, because it's saying the impact on content, employment, and access. That has to be broadcasting industry digitization. All right, so I told you the first rule is after you have at the topic and the topic seem interesting, you don't stop there, you go straight to the abstract. Ensure that the abstract is actually saying what you meant. If it's not moving the direction that you meant, then don't bother going through anything. So, and most times when you are reading a work, look for this particular term, this study or this research or this work. Other things may have been said before this, but just look for this. Whenever you see this, just start reading from there. This study examined the impact of digitization on Nigeria broadcasting industry, focusing on content quality, employment opportunities, and public access. With the global shift from analog to digital, broadcasting has made significant strides in adapting digital technology. However, transition presents challenges of ability, accessibility, and regulatory constraints. This study is anchored on the fusion of innovation theory, which explains how technological advancement spread through society and industry. A quantitative design was employed and data were collected through structured online questionnaire completed by 21 participants. Respondents include broadcasting professionals, digital content creators, and media consumers. The study applied descriptive statistics to analyze public awareness, barrier to digital adoption, content quality, and employment effect in the broadcasting industry. Finding reveals that digital broadcasting has expanded media accessibility and improved content quality. However, while new employment opportunities have emerged in digital media, traditional broadcasting jobs have declined. Public awareness of digital service is moderate. Many consumers face challenges such as high cost, technical complexity, poor digital literacy, regulatory issues, further hinder full-scale digital adoption. By implication, to optimize the benefit of digitization, Nigeria should invest, all these are the recommendation, and conduct education to enhance blah blah blah, and affordability and accessibility barriers is essential to achieving a full. Now, I've been able to see that this is really talking impact. So now you want to now check what aspects of this impact is being considered. The aspect, first of all, be considered is content, impact on content, employment, and test. Are those all of the impact that IT or digitization has on broadcasting systems or equipment or industry? You now begin to want to check what else are also impacted. That can be your area where you discover your gap. So you can that, and according to this author, let me put it at now. In reviewing this paper, you can come and say, I told us the other day how to cite papers, and I told us that there are two methods. We have the narrative and we have the parenthetical. Narrative is when you are including the name of the author as part of the sentence. Most when you are carrying out a review, you include the name of the author as part of the sentence being made. And I also told us that when it is two or more, when it is three or more authors, what do? You take the first author followed by a author and you put the year. So this is what you do. We are trying to do now. So I'm going to say Sanusi et al. Please. So I'm going to say Sanusi et al. What's the year there? Sanusi et al. 2025 examined the impact of digitization on broadcasting in Nigeria, looking at areas of content, employment, and what? Access. Full stop. Now, the next thing you want to check out for already, I'm already finding out that there are areas that you can identify as gap. Number one, this author considered the impact of digitization on broadcasting in Nigeria, looking at areas of content. And you can find out data gap. You can find that data gap because number of employers in the digital in broadcasting today if you are picking just 321 samples, is that enough to generalize on all those that is stated here? Look at what is stated here. He said they collected 300 and this thing from broadcasting professionals, industry regulators, digital content creators, and multimedia consumers. Now, if you check, is 321 a good value that can represent properly this set of respondents? And digital content creators, they are running in millions in Nigeria. Media consumers, they are running in millions in Nigeria. Industry regulators are running in millions in Nigeria. Industry regulators, let's say the government and some other industry agency, then broadcasting professionals. So if you are collecting a sample, the sample number should at least be high enough so that it will be clear that it can represent the population being represented. So you can spot it at, I'm just trying to be, I just want to be doing more than one thing at a period of time. All right, so as at this point, I can say that as a statement of problem, which also forms gaps in literature, there is a data gap as the respondents population runs millions. Hence, a good number would help better generalization to the population, So what I'm trying to pick at here is that it is also very important that whenever you are reviewing a paper, these are certain gaps you must look out for, because those are the things that will make your topic to be strong. That one now is we call it data gap. Now you can also go further to go and check. You can also go further and go and check, though I'm not able to go through each of the content because of time. But what I would us to do, if possible, I will still try to raise a little concern about this. Maybe probably before we continue tomorrow, I will raise a little bit of concern about it to check out certain things. But I can go straight down to the conclusion or discussion. And all right, if you look at this paper, was just enough and do what? I what? Are you seeing? Are we together? Are we together? Please unmute.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So,
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. We are together.
So this paper was generous enough to specify gaps. You understand? He said, despite the growing body of research on digitization in Nigeria broadcasting industry, several gaps remain unaddressed. And this is a particular gap, but this one is old. This is what? 2011, 2012 is old. And look at those ones that are like 2019, maybe 2018, maybe 2022, and 2019. Those ones are a bit fresh. So he said, lately, Springer Link 2020 provides statistical insight into media market expansion, but did not evaluate how these changes impact content, diversity, and local media representation. Now, take note, this man's work or this author, their work is not focusing on this area, on content, where I've not gone through. Let me not generalize. Let me not conclude that yet, because I'm able to go through it. But I'm very certain that when you go through it, you will discover that there are some area also that the author is able to address, and there are area that the author couldn't address. Some things are also very important. Let me say this at this point. Some things are also very important. Please. The conclusion. All right. So this is the conclusion. He said the study confirms that digitalization is reshaping Nigeria broadcasting industry, leading to better content quality, blah, 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 blah. The research answers its key question as follow. Okay. Listen, believe in. Well, like as I said, because of able to know these things more closely by tomorrow, in just trying to wrap, and you in trying to get a good research topic, I've been able to tell you some of the guiding indicators that should guide you. And then also you need to base your research topic on literature. Base your research topic on literature. And how do you search for literature? A lot of literatures are free, but these links, they can guide you, or they can bring you to free literatures. They can bring you to free literatures. So you can take your time to click on these links when the material gets to you, and just search for particular keywords. Maybe keyword is just artificial intelligence. Just put it there. It will go and bring out all a number of papers on artificial intelligence, irrespective of what your topic can be. And then also I've tried to want to help us to understand how you do your literature review. But in the material here, I gave a template. This is a template of how to review a literature. This is a template where you begin with the author's last name and then it is part of the sentence. That was what I was trying to do here. The author's part of the sentence, Sanusi et al. Examined. So I try to want to create a template that will just guide you. So author name, conduct a study about what did the person working on. So if you check on this one I was doing here, you will see how I stated it and say examine the impact of digitization. So that template is just like something, if you can just be filling in, it will be so accurate at the end of the day. So the participants to data sample were what is the participants you put here? He said he collected 100 samples from a number of respondents. Then again, the method used to analyze data collected, you now put it there. Then what the author found, then what was suggested. And sometimes you can also come at the end and put down and say, these are gaps that were found. These are gaps that were found in the literature. So I really want to just take direct questions now so that I can address them directly. Let me take direct questions. Please, let me take direct questions. Nobody to ask questions. Hello. Let me take the questions. Please ask me questions, please. Because this matter is a serious matter in research. And there are a whole lot in my head. I don't know how to pour all of them out at a go. Are we together? I hope I'm not talking to myself. Are we
We
hear
are
me?
together. We are together. We are hearing you.
So what together? I think I have a question. I'm trying to find the question.
Please ask your question, please.
Okay, so in the case of getting an area from Google or ChatGPT, any area, and searching it on Google Scholar, and maybe you find something related to it, how do we now fine tune it to a topic? How do we
All
set a
right.
topic?
All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that question. Now, just to go on a brief on that. Now, she's trying to know how do we now form a topic out of it. Remember that when looking keywords, there are certain keywords already that you into your search. So take for instance now, this person has put in impact of IT on so. Now, after doing that, he was able to find a particular research gap in a particular area. Maybe the area he found the gap, let's take for instance this data gap that has to do with population, and also maybe a methodological gap that has to do with the aspect of auto use in collecting data. That's what you now use to frame your topic. So you cannot say, okay, let me put it like this. Broadcasting and broadcasting and what do I put there now? Okay, let's say broadcasting and it's broadcasting as. In short, when you are trying to formulate your topic actually just simply means that you are trying to consider this area, and then this is the method you are trying to use. But meanwhile, I want to confirm something from that paper because it seems like that is a review paper. Let me confirm something. It's not a review paper. So now, when you are formulating your topic, just pick those keywords. Necessarily pick all keywords in this person's work, because actually you are trying to make a difference or a modified aspect of this person's work. So maybe instead of taking the impact, the content, employer, and asset, maybe you cannot check for the impact on something else. So you search for other impacts of IT or digitization on broadcasting. We check there various aspects of impact of IT in broadcasting. Now, enhance content creation and distribution. So all the other areas enhancing content creation and distribution through digital tools. So now I can now focus on the aspect of this one, not just on. So you cannot say, let me bring this here now. Digital broadcasting Are you seeing what I did now? Can you see it now? Are we together?
I can't see anything.
Are we together?
Yes, sir, but I can't see anything.
You can't see
Is it
anything.
is it what
We
you
are
just wrote
together.
now?
Yes, what I just wrote now.
The digital broadcasting optimization.
Optimizing, yes, through
Okay.
enhanced content creation and distribution using Chat GPT. Are you seeing it now? So
Yes.
now you are not trying to check one aspect now. The aspect has to do with content, but you are not trying to bring it in the form of an enhancement, like an optimization of a particular aspect, which is the content creation and this one. And you also specify what are you trying to use to achieve that. In every topic you are writing, there are about two things, or at least two things must be shown. Number one is the method you want to use. Then number two is that particular thing you want, the method you want to use in doing it, and what you want to do. Do you understand it now? Then sometimes you can include the kind of data or the area, the major area of concern. Like this case now, we are trying to optimize broadcasting, digital broadcasting, but the area we are focusing on is enhancing content creation and digitization. And the tool we want to use is ChatGPT. So that is actually how you do what you carve out your topic. So you can see that though this first author here did his own by considering impact on this, now you are not taking it to another perspective. Instead of like impact on this, you are not trying to say, okay, what about enhancing one of them? Because actually the impact the person specified in his work probably could be negative impact, which could be something that has to do with distribution of the digital content that is being created. But now in your work, you are not trying to solve, you are not trying to give a topic that will cover the area of focusing on that aspect, so that you have been able to understand the, and you're not trying to enhance that area so that digital broadcasting can be optimized. I don't know if I lay answer to that your question. Hello.
I have a question, sir.
Okay, please go
Sir,
ahead.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
You about maybe 2 or 3 people being on one project, right? That
Okay.
topic. So now I am working on something. I know that someone else somewhere is working on this particular topic that I'm working on. And then even if I get to know and I want to back out, or the other thing to know that all of us now, we found out that
Okay.
someone else is using, we know this is giving up for the other person to continue working on it.
Okay, no, sometimes it's not necessary you should give up. Sometimes you can collaborate. Sometimes you can share your view. Sometimes put your collective ideas to make the work more, to be more broader.
No, you said in postgraduate.
Mm.
You said in postgraduate we cannot work on same topic.
Yes. In postgraduate, two persons cannot do projects. It's
Right.
one person to. The reason is the level of study is your growth. In the undergraduate, they assume that on the lower level you don't understand research, you don't know so much. So sometimes it can to come out with something to be able to do that particular work. There are certain things that are being tested. Your ability to be able to without anybody supporting you, same thing you. Can you hear me?
It was breaking.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
So I'm trying to say, so in the postgraduate are supposed to be being with you, because at the postgraduate level you are all going to build up specialization. You are trying to area. So I don't know if you understand. Network. Share. Question, please.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello, sir.
like it is network. It has been affected by network.
Hello.
Yeah, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
You see, this topic we are treating
On my
today.
end.
Are you hearing me?
All right. Yes, I can.
So I'm saying that this topic that we are treating today is very, very important. And
Yeah, actually.
you find out that a researcher, probably in PhD or master's, spent ample time to actually find an area of interest and coming up with a topic that will be considered okay for a PhD thesis or so. Right? With what you have taught us, I still cannot figure properly how one could actually get a topic of research in PhD level.
Okay. Did you post anything for your area on this? Okay, you say artificial intelligence.
Yes.
You're the one that posted artificial intelligence.
I put artificial intelligence, yes.
All right, so let me use that now to guide you.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence, first of all, is a very broad aspect of research.
Yes.
So you have to narrow it down. Under we have data science, we have what again? Okay, we have machine learning, deep learning.
Machine learning, deep learning.
If you are focusing on doing your research, be data science or machine learning or deep learning, you have to now also break it down. Let's say, okay, you want to go into machine learning in healthcare, or machine learning in agriculture, or learning in healthcare, or deep learning in agriculture. Are you?
Yes.
All right. So when you have not come down to the point where you now say, okay, I'm looking at, let's say, deep learning in health care. You understand? You have been able to now come with that. But under deep learning in healthcare is also very broad. Under healthcare, you have diagnosis. Under healthcare, you have prognosis. Under healthcare, you have personalized medicine. Under you have drug discovery. Under health, you have patients patient follow up. Let me use that word for now.
Okay.
So the healthcare over a area. So which aspect do you want to now focus on? Okay, let's say you are focusing on diagnosis. So now you now go down in what are you trying to diagnose? So let us say, okay, you are trying to diagnose
cancer. Hello.
that is what you want to diagnose.
Yes.
The topic you have already. Sorry. You want to be able to diagnose malaria. So now, but
Okay.
what do? You go back to literature. In literature, you now say, okay, but remember, it's machine in healthcare. So you're trying to have machine learning to diagnose or detect certain disease. there are a number of diseases. Now you have picked malaria. So now you now go to literature and put malaria diagnosis. You launch it. Now you will see a lot of papers there. These are 2025 paper. So now you see deep learning method for malaria parasite evaluation for microscopic blood smear. All right, so let's pick this one. So you will discover that this person, I don't know if this paper is free, I doubt if it is free. So this person did a work applying machine learning, an aspect of machine learning called deep learning. He applied deep learning now for the purpose, deep learning method for site evaluation from microscopic blood smear. Now, take note, in the course of carrying out, I think if you read through the abstract, you will see what the researcher did. You finish reading what the researcher has done, you will not check critically what is the art.
Sorry, sir. We can't see your screen. I don't think you're sharing your screen. We can't see your screen, sir.
Are you serious? All right, I did not share it and did not share it. I'm so sorry. All this while I was thinking my screen was showing. All right, so now you're already now you are working on malaria trying to work on artificial intelligence. Then in breaking it down, you are not trying to focus on machine learning. In breaking it down, you are not trying to focus on, because deep learning is a of machine learning. You're not trying to focus on deep learning. Now, under deep learning, you are not trying to focus on, because there are many aspects. You can have deep learning in agriculture, you can have deep learning in health care, you can have deep learning in a lot of things, you understand? But now you are focusing on applying deep learning to health care. And I said earlier that under healthcare, these are different operations that are carried out. We have diagnosing, we have prognosing, we have personalized medicine, we have drug discovery. All these are different aspects of healthcare. Now you pick diagnosis. Okay, there are different diseases diagnosed. Now you want to pick one of them. So you picked malaria. Now you go back now to literature check and go and check works that have been done under malaria diagnosis, particularly using deep learning method. Now we saw this particular work now that this person has done, but I think that work is a review paper, which is this now. So this person carried out this work and he was able to check that, okay, peak accuracy of 99.2 was done. But mostly, when you look at everything here that was the deep learning model that was considered, they are all single modal deep learning model. Which is residual network, is a single modal deep learning architecture. VGG, whether 16 or 19, is also a single modal deep learning architecture. When I say single modal, it means that it can take a particular type of data. And in this case, it is microscopic blood cell and image data. Now, there are many other data that can be used to determine what malaria parasite want to evaluate it. Now, another method is by using the symptomatic, the symptoms that patient may go to the hospital and they may say, I'm having headache, I'm having cold, I'm having flu, I'm having this. And all of them are also symptoms that characterize the operation of malaria, especially in regions where malaria is endemic. Now, you can also feed that data into a model together with this blood smear, and that give you a robust architecture that may want to mimic or represent the real life of malaria parasites. Whenever a patient comes to the hospital to come and see the doctor, the first thing the doctor will say is, what are you feeling? And the person will speak a lot of things, and the patient will go and do some lab tests to come back. But take note that both the earlier symptoms that is presented and the test result that is being gotten, they will evaluate to come out final decision on the type of medication to be used, on the number of days or how long the prescription should last. Are you getting me now? In your topic now, you can now say, okay, so author evaluated malaria diagnosis single modal models, but healthcare practice leverage a number of models. You can put data type in evaluating malaria. Are you seeing it now? So you can now put up to say, okay, you can, your area now is that you want to develop a model that can incorporate these different models, incorporate these different and so let's say text and images. This is the type of data you want to use now, but the previous sort of just use only images. So your topic can have multimodal malaria parasite evaluation using hybrid, let's say using clip model. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So you can see now that you are able, but you came out to that topic because you are able to discover from what somebody has done that there is a limitation. And the limitation you discovered is that, yes, the person is able to achieve a good accuracy. If you look at the accuracy here, the accuracy is 99.12. Are you seeing it now? But nonetheless, the limitation is in that is using just malaria blood smear. And remember what artificial intelligence is trying to do. Artificial intelligence is trying to mimic the way human does that thing, or the way that thing is done in the real world. So in the real world, multiple data are used to understand a particular disease. Some of the images, some are tests. So you want to develop a model that can receive both images and tests together to come out with a more robust evaluation or diagnosis. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yes, it does.
So that is how you come about finding that narrow. You must keep narrowing it down until it now situates on the area of your focus. So take for instance now that you are considering it, let me wipe this all out. You are considering it in the aspect of agriculture. Now, in the aspect of agriculture, there are a number of things there also. We have we have plant diseases. We have plant diseases. We have animal identification. Sorry if my typing are not. We have plant identification. So now take for instance, you want to consider plant diseases now. You will now also tailor it down again and say, okay, what plant? Okay, let's say maize plant, because it's very good you don't get too broad with your approach so that you don't get overwhelmed. Okay, let's say you want to consider maize plant disease. Even maize plant disease, they are the leaf disease that affects the leaf, There are the disease that affect the stem. There are the disease that affect the maize food or the maize crop itself. Of them are you considering? Okay, you say you are considering just the leaf. Now, even the disease that there are the leaves, there are of them. We have maize blight. We have they are not. So if you want to carry out, take for instance, a multi as classification, or you want to carry out an identification, not as necessarily to classify an identification, then that will not inform you on what kind of page to go and look for. When you come to the search engine, you will now come to search for maize leaf disease classification. It brings out a number of paper. This one say this is a review paper. I told you when to use a review paper. It's when you are actually looking for a topic. That's what I said. When you are not looking for a topic, it's best to use review paper, because review paper will help you to see what has been done and what has not been done, area that needs to be given attention to. So this one is looking at in maize leaf disease detection is one, classification is another, and segmentation is another, and classification is another. So when you look at the work, you read through the abstract. There are certain things you will pay attention to. Pay attention to the method that the author, pay attention to the data type the author used to understand. And in this context now, the total number of publications that was evaluated is 20. What am I saying here is 25. Now, per each of this particular technique, transcending was 20, to 19, severity measurement. All these things are part of the techniques that were implemented by the paper. But at the end of it, since it is a review paper, you will come and see certain things that the author found that those will not inform your, all right, like look at this now. The author say future research. Hope my screen is still clear and listen.
We see this.
Are you all right? So the author now has not given future research done. So when you read through this future research done, you will not discover that, oh, let's read it. Based on the findings of the review article, it is evident that there are numerous avenues for future research that could improve the efficiency and accuracy of maize disease classification and detection. The subsequent 5 potential domains for further investigation are focused on machine learning approaches. It should be that needs for crop protection may cannot be limited to machine learning and deep learning tech. So number 1, collection of diversified multi-dimensional data sets. That is another area. Collection of diversified and multi-dimensional data sets. So you can pick that as part of the general consideration as a research problem. But I say for the development of trustworthy model, they must be unbiased and be shown to work on diversified data sets. See, I don't want it to be too long because computer vision tasks multi diseases. So this is talking about the method. The first one is talking about the data. Then farmer-friendly application. So this one is talking about the use, that is the deployment of those models such that it can be of use to the farmers. Then severity measurement of plant disease. So this one is not talking about, you are not just classifying the leaf disease, but you are also trying to classify what is the severity of that disease. So it means that these are open areas for what? Research. So you cannot go on for your own research focus, if you say, okay, you want to consider severity of the leaf disease, you will now go to your search and go and search for just put severity of maize leaf disease, let's say classification. Then you will see papers, what people have done on that area. Are you getting me now? What is done on that particular area now to show the severity? You will not check for what was their atom, what did they get? Was it efficient? Then you now also check what method was applied. Are there other methods that can also be used in this deep learning or machine learning? Learned to model together, maybe hybrid, or can use example method. That one now will be framing the kind of topic or problem area you are considering. So now you have been able to see that the person did segmentation, identification, and classification of leaf disease. You can now say, okay, you want to do multi-task. And I say you want to do maize disease detection and severity identification using maybe you can convolutional neural network, maybe you say CNN and VIT, that is vision comma. Are you seeing it now?
Yes.
So you're able to now come out with a topic. So it is this topic now that you used to go and look for the literature that you will use for your literature review section. Is it clear?
Sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So,
Thanks.
but what I want to say is this. When you are doing your research, at any phase you come across in your research process where you find a challenge, simply come to this Telegram group and come and raise a call for help. Are you with me?
Yes.
Simply come to that Telegram group and raise that area you need assistance. Just raise it there. Then we can look at it together to provide solution to that problem. But basically, understand that this is how you go about from or coming out with a research topic. So we have gone beyond the time far. Research is serious matter because it is the core, one of the core about research. But well, I thank God that some of us were able to stay through to the end. For one reason or the other, others have left. Thank God some of us were able to stay through to this end. I will upload this material on the two materials on the Telegram group and then also the video. If you still go it and you have an area that you need clarification, please come back to the Telegram group and raise it. And we'll try and give an answer to it. I wouldn't want to take another question because of
Okay,
I
sir.
wouldn't want to take I don't want to take another question because of time. So let me just say good night to us all. Please make sure you eat a lot of food and drink water. Huh?
You too.
All right. Thank you. Good night.